In your list of objections to Cuba, you mentioned meddling in American affairs. U.S. intelligence says that the Russians attempted to interfere in the United States election. What's your assessment of Russia efforts in the U.S. election?
If you recall, during the election, I was up for re-election, and I did not or would not talk about WikiLeaks during that period of time because I do not, as I said, I believe it's the work of a foreign intelligence agency. I believe Americans need to know. I don't believe that they changed the outcome of the election. I want to be clear about that. But I do think that it is some of the things we saw are very reminiscent of the active measures that Russian intelligence and before that Soviet intelligence agencies used to try to undermine the government or individual politicians in foreign countries.
Should the U.S. retaliate if there's evidence the Russians were involved?
Well, again, I'm not going to speak to specifics of what the U.S. should do in response because it's an intelligence matter. All I would say is that if in fact there is evidence that these were active measures on the part of the Russian government, the American people deserve to know. But I want to be clear, I do not believe that in any way what they did ultimately changed the outcome of the election. But the American people need to be made aware if in fact there is evidence that a foreign government tried to interfere with or influence the direction of our politics.
Donald Trump is looking at his Secretary of State picks. Without getting into the personalities, what attributes should he look for in a Secretary of State?
Well, first of all, someone who is capable of being the chief diplomat of the United States, hopefully someone who has a deep-rooted commitment in human rights and a strong national security on the part of our country, who has an understanding of the complexities of the world today, and someone who understands that the world is a better place when America plays a leading role in leading the free world in confronting the challenges of the 21st century. I think he has a bevy of people to pick from. Ultimately, he has to choose someone that he's comfortable with because he won this election. He has a right to pick someone as his Secretary of State that he feels comfortable with. And I think there are a number of qualified candidates that could fit the bill.